Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Ryan, I see ya. It's Phil and Ryan on Listen Up. Yeah, we see you, Ryan, all the way from Frederick to Middletown. The game recap on Listen Up. Ryan, a lot to talk about in such a short amount of time. Connecticut 86, Louisville. Hey, Ryan, it's Louisville 62. Ryan, I won't even start talking. Go ahead and get your recap in because, oh my goodness, there's so much to say. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, immaculate vibes today. It really couldn't have been a much better game from UConn. Starting five remained the same for the third straight game. Both offenses really were clicking early. I think it was the most fast-paced UConn game we've seen the whole season. We knew Aaliyah Edwards and Olivia Cochran were going to battle inside. Both made a couple shots early in the game. Both players really do play a huge role for both of their teams. And, they aren't UConn on offense. Everyone was really active today. They're not going to make every shot, but they were taking smart shots for the most part in today's game. Also, forcing turnovers allowed them to get UConn fast break points. But as good as the Huskies looked, Louisville matched their intensity and also had a very good shooting quarter themselves. UConn only up 28-27 after one quarter of play. Olivia Cochran started the second quarter on the bench, and UConn got the ball straight away to Aaliyah Edwards, and she drilled a mid-range shot. Also, need to point out Aubrey Griffin, another game from her off the bench, and she really was the game changer for UConn in this one. She got out in the transition, got rebounds, and just overall her hustle allowed her to get points and just continued to put in work throughout the game. Paige was doing what Paige does, on fire from the field, got 2 blocks in the quarter. I think she had 4 for the game. Just somehow she continues to be in the right place at the right time, continues to do pretty much everything for UConn, just what we expect. And this game really showcased the UConn offense specifically is the old UConn offense is back. This is the kind of the team we're really used to seeing. The aggressiveness, the energy, the pace, just proven that their pace is better than any opponent that they face. But again, UConn, as good as basketball as they were playing, the Cardinals were really staying with them throughout the first half, keeping it a competitive game. Louisville ended the second quarter strong. UConn up by 4 points at the end of the first half. Second half definitely didn't disappoint. The energy and pace remained the same from both teams, but it was good to see UConn play consistent quarters throughout the game. And it really just wasn't one player. It was a team effort from everyone. And like I continue to say, I think UConn plays their best basketball as a team. And it really did show today. Block shots, transition baskets, rebounds, forcing turnovers. UConn really did it all in the third quarter. Started to pull away from Louisville as their offense began to fade. And they stretched the lead. UConn did to 14 points going in to the final quarter. And like I said, the consistency from UConn for all 4 quarters, a big reason why they won this game. This is, in my opinion, I feel like we've said this for the past a couple UConn wins, but again, I think UConn leveled up, and I'm going to say it again. This was their best game and best overall performance today. Both sides of the ball were dominant, and they really didn't do much wrong in this game. And eventually, like I said, just wore down the Cardinals overall. UConn defeats Louisville 86-62. Spectacular performance from everybody today.
Yeah, you're right. So this actually matched the Maryland game, arguably the best game of the year. I know we keep saying that, but this you have to understand this is against a top 25 opponent. When UConn keeps being doubted over and over again, my first question is, where are they at? Come on, Ryan. Let's see them come through. We love the talking. We love the commenting. Where are y'all at? Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Look, my ears are open, Ryan. There's no earplugs in here. All right, where are they at? That's my first question. Second question, well, not a question, comment to you is, yeah, I mean, you're right. The field goal percentage today was up 60%, right? The 3-point attempts is going up. 18 attempts today, 7 made. That's going up. You can't hit me, Ryan, with, even though you're not, but other people probably will hit you and I with this. Well, Louisville, they're number 18. You feel me. You understand what I'm saying. No.
Yeah.
You know why, Ryan? You texted me. You tell me if I'm wrong. You said, Phil, Louisville is doing a great job keeping UConn in check in the first and second quarters. Yeah, they were, Ryan. But guess what? We're starting to see it fall into place all of a sudden. And you're right, because I wish that person would come forward, whoever that comment was that I saw 4 or 5 days ago that said, this team, UConn, is going to eventually come on like a wrecking ball. Okay. I wish that they earn we might have to send them a listen up shirt in the mail, right? Because we want to know who that person was. I wish I could go back and see who commented that. I might have to do a little bit of research on that. But anyway, Ryan, you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it. I could sit here all day. Everybody, all of our viewers are going to get bored just sitting here watching Phil say the same thing. Well, every episode he says you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it, Ryan. So no, I mean, hats off to Louisville. A great job in the first and second quarters. But again, Ryan, and I told you this before we came on, the terrible news, the terrible Patterson news. People out there, don't mistake yourself. Ryan and I tune in to other people. We listen, we read. It's not just Ryan and I sitting behind the computer typing all day by ourselves, our own reports. Ryan and I are listening out there to the outsiders. Ryan, it's just amazing how this comes after, a day or two of that Patterson news, although we were kind of expecting that, you told me. If Aubrey Griffin grilling it up, if she can continue that down in the post, what? I mean, because what's your take, Ryan, on the outsiders? Again, well, UConn, basically, that's it. Game over, because Patterson was the last hope. I don't think so, Ryan.
When it kind of is amazing because for all of these games that UConn has played in December and won so far, they've had 4 players that have been out. 2, of course, or I guess three are out now for the season, unfortunately. And we have Caroline Ducharme, who hasn't played in a while, unfortunately, as well. So it truly is amazing what UConn has been able to do just throughout these past couple years, but specifically for this month of December and really through the whole year so far, fighting through adversity. Had a rough start to the year in November, and really, like I said, in December, I really expected them to turn up. I think coming home really helped them a lot. Another rowdy crowd today in Hartford, Connecticut. The fan base really showed up again, and I think that continues to help them when they play at home. But again, Aubrey Griffin, there really wasn't one player of the game today. Like I said, the whole team really came together. The underclassmen, KK and Ashwin Shade, they both got the start today. Really had great games. I loved KK's energy and pace. Couldn't really get her shots going early, but her continued consistency of her shooting the ball, really loved to see that. She played a great defensive game. Ashlyn got a couple of shots early. Love to see that out of her. But Aubrey Griffin, she scored all 25 points off the bench. That's all the points UConn had off the bench. Definitely her best game of the season. And like you said, we need her consistency as well throughout the whole entire season. Aaliyah Edwards, 22 points. Paige Becker's really stuffed the stat sheet today. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 blocks. And Nika Mule, we talked about her a little bit, struggling. I think she got back, didn't score a lot of points today, but 10 assists. So she got back to the old Nika Mule. Her passing game really showed out today. So, like I said, just a collective effort from everybody. Really wasn't one player that did everything, but everybody pitched in today, and they really did play their best basketball.
Yeah, don't make any mistake, Ryan. The country is on alert. All right, I would tell you that to the very least. You and I had no doubt to begin with, but again, the country's on alert. There's plenty of work to do, right? The eyebrows are being raised, and the country is on alert a little bit more, I'd say, than when you and I went up there rather against Maryland. So, yeah, it's it's coming together. It's coming together. It's coming together. Look up, Ryan, and say thank you, right? And it's wild because I'm not saying your last check-ins are wrong, but especially Ryan, you're just doing your job, right? You're telling me about Kiki Jefferson. You're telling me about Olivia Cochran on the last check-in. You're talking about other players that will may give UConn problems, and that's true, during the last check-ins. But I'm starting to see a trend here, Ryan. The names, the big names that you throw at me during last check-ins. Guess what, Ryan? Defensively on UConn's side, they're doing great. They're doing great because these names that you're throwing at me on the last check-ins are not coming through like I thought they would.
Yeah, and Kiki Jefferson and Olivia Cochran really did play pretty good in the first half, but I think overall in the second half, like I said, UConn just wore down their energy and pace. Started to really wear on Louisville, and they just really couldn't keep up with UConn in that second half. And you started to see the Huskies really pull away. But I think again that was just the overall effort, and it's really good to see because that was something we started to, I guess, panic a little bit because in some of the games early in the year we didn't really see the effort that we were used to seeing. So it's good to see just everything is really clicking right now for UConn. They out rebounded Louisville with their mostly small lineup on the floor the entire time. UConn's gonna really not have the height advantage in any single game. So
No.
for them to out rebound Louisville today, 33-29, that was something special. Outscored Louisville by 10 in the paint. So, like I said, UConn really didn't do anything wrong. Quick turnaround to Monday. They play Butler, and then I think on the 20th they travel up to Toronto. So they're going to have a couple games close together here. So hopefully they can keep this momentum up, and not a lot of rest days, but hopefully this momentum carries them to a couple more wins.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 players in double figures today, Ryan. When that happens, good things are going to happen, right? So Edwards, Beckers, Arnold, and then Aubrey Griffin, of course, with 25. Shout out to the whole team, though. A job well done, 86-62. You're going to like, let's go over 2 of these comments very quickly. You're going to like these. Randy goes, Aubrey changes the entire dynamic of the game each time she plays, period. Ryan, let me warn you again. This comment comes a day prior to the game. Here we go again with predicting the future.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I said that during the all seasons as well, as Aubrey was gonna really have to be the X factor, the game changer for this UConn team. And I think she kind of struggled to get it going earlier in the season, got a couple starts, came off the bench, but the announcers really said it well for today's game. I think Aubrey really knows what her role is, and it doesn't matter if she starts coming off the bench. And like I said in the last check-in, I really like her coming off the bench. She still gets a ton of minutes, and she still impacts the game in every single way, getting rebounds, getting steals. Steals is something that UConn did a lot of today. I think almost matched their season high, which they got against Maryland. So a ton of steals and fast break points from today. And a lot of those came from when Aubrey was just straight out hustling, got out in transition, and got a lot of her points from fast break opportunities.
It's good to see Aubrey Griffin too, Ryan. Shoot well from behind the 3-point line. I know she had her second 3 of the season, I believe. That came early in the first or second quarter. So it's
Yeah.
great to see her. If she can start heating up from behind the 3-point line and then do what she's doing down in the post, whoa, my goodness. Hey, very quickly, Ryan, I'm not going to read Jason D'Amico's comment today. And he's probably like, what? Why? You always read my comment. How about this, Ryan? Instead of reading his comment, let's go ahead and invite Jason D'Amico on for another episode, another game recap. How about that, Ryan? So instead of us picking the game for him to come on, let's go ahead and shout out to Jason. Hopefully he's watching this right now. And let's go ahead and wait for his comment or wait for his email and let him pick which game recap to come on with us. So yes, that's right. Jason D'Amico invited back to the show. Hopefully we can get him back on for another game recap. We love you, brother. And how about one more, Ryan? Let's go over to This person goes, you guys have a great balance between optimism and realism. Keep it up. People who leave toxic reviews when we aren't doing well are probably same people who leave toxic reviews when we are. Misery loves company.
Yeah, and I think of this a lot when UConn wins and about the toxic or negative comments. That press conference that we were privileged to sit in, and Gino said at the end of it, he stabbed off the demise of the UConn basketball program for one day. So, of course, when UConn wins, we're not going to see a lot of those negative comments, of course. But yeah, I mean, if UConn continues to play like this, there's not going to be much to say from perspective of all this news and terrible comments coming from UConn's way.
Right. Edward, we love this person too, man. Edward goes, Phil and Ryan always love and respect your optimism each week. They could have used you on the Titanic movie. Ryan looks like we struck a majestic iceberg. And yeah, Phil, we will have to sit in an orderly fashion under the stars inside the provided life. Ryan, how would you like to have been casted on the Titanic movie? You know, your arms waving wide open on the Titanic boat as it goes by.
Well, I actually haven't watched the Titanic. I've been wanting to, but it's a little. I think it was a little before I was born, but I'll have to watch it. But no, definitely
Way
appreciate it.
before you was born. Hey, look, you'll have to have like 2 or 3 bags of popcorn for that one. That's a long movie. All right, I'll leave it at that. You know, I will leave you with this because we're actually going back on tomorrow morning, right, Ryan, for that last check-in. Now, I understand that we have a lot of games. Ryan, get ready to hit the stop button because I'm going to get criticized for saying this. I understand we have a lot of games coming up between now and then. But you know, the month of February, when everybody starts throwing each other hearts in the air, Valentine's Day, Ryan, it's going to get cute in an ugly kind of way, if that makes any sense. Because I got a feeling, I know today was focused on the Louisville recap. Ryan, I have a feeling not only are we going to be celebrating a Super Bowl on February 11th, but something is in the making for February 11th at 2 o'clock. You check your schedule, Ryan, and let me know what it is. Phil and Ryan on Listen Up.